Hi everyone! In this video, I want to demonstrate how to use the receipts feature in QuickBooks Online. You would just go to your receipts tab and you can set this up in 3 different ways. You can upload receipts directly from your computer and bring them into QuickBooks. You can upload them from Google Drive, or you can forward them into QuickBooks via email. And the reason you might do this is because it keeps a good record of your receipts and you can attach it directly to the related expense. And what I'm going to talk about today is the email feature. I use this feature myself just because when I'm out running errands, I can just take a picture of a receipt with my phone and email it right into QuickBooks. And that's convenient for me. You can also use the QuickBooks app on your phone. I personally don't really use the app. I find it easier to do everything on a big screen like this, but that is an option as well. But for me, I just use my phone to take the picture, like I said, and email it into QuickBooks. Now this is the sample company that QuickBooks has created. It is not going to let me actually create an email here, but I'm just going to show you how it might look, and then I'll go into a company that I already have set up as a sample company and we can look at it from there. You would basically just create an email address right here, and you can put whatever you want here. You can put the name of your business, you can put something else, whatever is going to be easy to remember. So you might do something like this. My email is sample company 123. So it would be something like this. And then you would just click next. And it's going to tell me it's taken. So then it would bring you to this screen and say, how does it look? And you would just say, looks good. And of course, like I said, it's not going to let me actually create an email in this sample company that QuickBooks has created. So let's look at a different company. Now this is a sample company that I have set up for demonstrations. You can see that I already have the email set up for receipts. If I click on it, it will allow me to edit users, add new users. If I click on add new user, it is going to take me over to the manage user screen, and I can add a user from here. Now you are giving this person access to QuickBooks if you add them. For example, if you want to add an assistant or someone who's going to be sending receipts in for you, just keep in mind that you do want to be careful what access you give them. And you can edit that right here. And it will give you different options and show you what access that person would have. So I already had that set up, and I emailed from my phone a couple of receipts so that I could go through these as examples. So we're going to enter these expenses. And before I go any further, I do want to point out that to send the receipts into QuickBooks, I had to send them to this email address, and it has to come from one of the users that's set up in here and turned on. So if you send an email from some other random email address, a personal email address, or something different than what's set up in here, it is not going to bring the receipt into QuickBooks. So it has to be from one of these users that are registered to this email address that you set up. Okay, so here I am back on the receipts page, and you can see that I have 2 receipts to enter. I can click on the box on the left and either review or delete multiple items at once, or I can click over here and use these options to review or delete over here as well. And you can see that there's an expense that QuickBooks realized is already in QuickBooks. So if I know that this is a match, then I could just click on match and it would basically post the receipt attached here onto the expense already in QuickBooks. But I'm going to go ahead and just review this so we can walk through the whole process together. So here's the receipt, and you can see that I wrote notes on the receipt itself. So if you're an owner or a manager and you want your bookkeeper to see your notes or see where you want this recorded, you can put the expense account here, or you can write other notes like tools, repairs, or whatever the case may be. This is a good place to put the information. Or you could just put the information in the memo, and I was able to put this in the memo by just typing this particular phrase in the text of the email itself when I sent this receipt into QuickBooks. So either way, this is just a good thing to realize that whoever is entering these receipts will see your notes. And you would just want to make sure the payee is here. You would want to choose the bank or credit card account that you paid the expense from. So I'm just going to choose checking. And then you could put a description here. A lot of times I just copy the memo and paste it in. And then for the category, you're going to want to make sure this is correct. Sometimes QuickBooks will guess the category, and you just want to be careful because QuickBooks could be wrong. So you want to make sure that correct account is here as well. And then the amount should pre-fill from the receipt. The transaction date should pre-fill from the receipt. The only time it doesn't is if it's not clear on the receipt itself. So you just want to be careful here that all the information is correct. And then if you have a customer that this is billable to, then you would check this box and put your customer name in here as well. And you can add additional notes if you want to. And I just want to point out that QuickBooks allows you to send in receipts, which are usually picture files, or vendor bills. You can send PDFs into QuickBooks as well. Okay, and then now you may not see this because my camera might be over this, but there is a button on the bottom right-hand corner that says Save and Next. So I'm just going to click on that. And then it does tell me there's a match found, which we knew that from the previous screen, from the screen earlier, that told me there was a match. And down in the bottom right-hand corner, it does allow me to choose match. Or I can just create a new expense if I choose the drop-down menu. So either one, I'm going to actually choose to match this to the expense that's already in QuickBooks so I don't have two expenses of the same thing. Okay, and then now that I've entered it, I can go to the Review tab, and it does allow me to undo what I just did. If I realized I made a mistake, I can just click on this and it will actually bring it back to the For Review screen. Okay, let's go ahead and enter the second one. So for this one, again, you can see that I wrote notes for the bookkeeper, and I also put it in the text of the email. So this is a good way to make notes for your bookkeeper. And I'm just going to want to choose the bank or credit card account that this was paid from. Any other notes, if I want to put them in here, I can. And then I would, again, make sure the account category is correct. If I wanted to split this expense, for example, if these were two different categories, I could choose to add a line and split the amounts between two different categories. So that is possible to do. I'm going to delete the second line, but I wanted to point that out in case it was relevant to you. And then from here, I would just click on Save and Next, which is in the bottom right-hand corner. And then here it says no matches were found. So I'm going to go ahead and create this expense. Now let's go ahead and look at this from the vendor tab so we can see it in the vendor. Okay, so this is what it looks like under the vendor. I just went back to this expense and you can see the attachment is right here within the expense. So I really like this feature because I like the fact that all my information is in one place. I have my expense and I have a receipt attached. So if this company were to ever get audited, they have their receipts attached to their expenses, and it just makes it easier to find information. Instead of digging through a bunch of receipts, they have the receipt right here. So as you can see, this is a really good feature and really easy to use. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe. And if you have any questions, be sure to comment below and I will try to answer them if I can. Thank you so much for watching.